Okay, guys, just jumping in real quick. This is editing Annie. So we're in the middle of editing this episode. But I just wanted to jump in and say that this was recorded a few weeks ago, just because I mentioned some things that you're going to be like, oh, that's out of order. That doesn't make sense based on last week's episode. But basically, Henry and I wanted to get our engagement episode out ASAP. So we moved the episodes around a little bit. I am very much back in Australia now, but this was recorded in Dubai when I was there with Mum. I did the episode with Mum and then did this episode with Sam. So I just wanted to tell you that so it would make a little bit more sense, but hope you enjoy it.
Update on Annie Knight.
So I've seen online that someone by the name of Annie Knight are coming to the Gold Coast for schooling.
And Annie Knight are getting deported from Fiji.
Unhinged.
So unhinged.
Hey guys, today we're talking about Annie Knight, who has been labelled Australia's most promiscuous woman.
This shit unhinged?
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Annie Knight Unhinged. If you can't tell, I'm still in Dubai. We're recording this on the same day that we recorded our episode with Mum. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update because I'm about to head to Cancun to film with Bonnie Blue for spring break. So I'm getting really nervous but excited because our plans are quite loose at the moment. Other things are tight, but the plans are loose. And we're super excited, and I don't know, I'm excited to update you. I think the next episode I release, I'll be able to give you the full update on everything that went down. But I want to get into our guest today because I have an exciting guest. He's a man of many talents. He's an ex-Love Island contestant, a OnlyFans agency owner, a property developer, and the husband of an OnlyFans model, which is pretty cool. Welcome, Sam Bird.
Thanks for having me. That was a good little intro.
Quite a good intro.
That was good. Man of many talents. I like that.
Yeah, you are. So we're in Dubai at the moment, filming for OFTV. Do you want to talk about the show a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it's your show.
I know.
But I guess, concept and production obviously was with my company. It's been really, really fun. You and your mum are traveling around Dubai. We've set up loads of fun challenges for you and activities. And I will say I have done a few, productions like this before, but you guys really stand out. The dynamics between you and your mum is absolutely hilarious. I've been in the edit last couple of days just cracking up by myself, and I'm super excited to come out.
I feel like it's cool that you've said that, because Mum and I have always said we need our own TV show. People need to see that this is so funny. So it's validating to hear that, it is like that.
No, it's super funny, and yeah, can't wait for it to come out.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Okay, so I want to get the Love Island thing out of the way because I'm sure everyone's dying to hear. So you were on the UK version, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a bit of a Love Island, I guess, grandpa at this point, because it was 5 years ago. Right. But I guess it is kind of what people know me for in the UK.
Okay.
So yeah, I was on series 4.
Okay. What year was that?
So that's 2018, I think.
Okay, yeah, that was early, very early on.
Very early on. I actually, so some people say I didn't want to go on Love Island. I did want to go on.
Okay, yeah.
It was a plan.
Yeah. So you applied and everything, right?
So I actually applied for a different show.
Okay.
I ended up getting on, kind of. They flew me out to South Africa. The show was actually more of a fitness show. I was a personal trainer at the time.
Okay.
I was like, this is perfect. Fitness show, personal trainer. Mm-hmm. Went out to South Africa and the show was going on. And right at the last moment, they changed their mind and said, we don't want you anymore. And they flew me back home.
What?
And I didn't get on the show. It ended up being a flop.
Good.
So it was for the best, because the producers of said show were the same producers of Love Island. They called me back about 6 weeks later and they said, we actually sent you home because we want you to go on Love Island.
No way.
And I was like, yes, that's why I wanted to go in the first place.
Oh, that's weird how that all worked out.
Yeah. And it was just a decision from the producers. I was a bit of a surprise. I didn't even plan for it. So I was kind of seeing a girl at the time.
Okay.
But the producers had been calling me saying, we might have you on Love Island, we might have you on Love Island. I was like, well, I'll keep it in the back of my head. But obviously I knew what happened on the last show, right? I got sent back home. So I took what they said with a pinch of salt. Mm-hmm. So I sort of was seeing this girl and she came around my house and she's like, can we watch Love Island? I was like, all right. So we're watching the show, watching the characters, sitting at home. Week goes by, 2 weeks go, we're getting into the show now. And then one Friday I get a call and said, Sam, you need to come out to Spain tomorrow. We want you on.
You're like what, one of those the intruders or something?
Yeah. Bombshell, that's what they call it.
Stop.
So obviously I was like, yeah. But then I was like, oh, I've been watching the show with this girl.
She's going to see you on the show.
Yeah. And I thought, shall I tell her? But they do say don't tell anyone, otherwise you might not get on. So I was like, I'm just not going to tell her.
Oh, God.
So I just got on the plane and went out there, didn't tell her.
They take your phones off you too, don't they?
Yeah. So I didn't even let her know. I obviously let my parents know, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And she did like later on tell me that she was sitting at home with her friends, and they said, "How's Sam? Is everything all right?" She's like, "Yeah, he's cool." It was a quite casual thing.
Yeah.
And they were watching Love Island, drinking wine, and then I just popped up on the screen, and it just went silent. She said she threw a glass of wine at her friend's TV, and it smashed the iPad. She had to buy a new iPad.
It.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that was ruthless.
So okay, because I'm not super into Love Island. I know little bits and pieces. What was it like being on the show? Like, talk me through it. Like, what's it like being there? Not having access to outside world, not knowing what people's perspectives are of you.
So I'd been watching this series at home, right? So I'd been watching these characters, and then suddenly I was in the TV.
Yeah.
And I was with these people that I'd just been watching. So that was a bit weird. They throw you in the deep end. They gave me a quite good, I guess, not script, but storyline. And they gave me a chance. I could pick kind of the girl I wanted to couple up with. I was going to send someone home. So I was guaranteed at least a week there.
Right.
And, I'm not going to lie and say I didn't have a bit of a strategy to stay on as long as possible. The longer you're on there, the more fame, the more money. So that was the game plan. And yeah, I sort of went in very strong-minded. And then as the days started to unfold, it did start to take its toll on me a little bit.
Okay.
I realized it was more difficult than I thought.
Right. In what way?
I think I experienced a bit of anxiety for the first time in my life.
Okay. Yeah.
I felt the pressure. I knew people were watching back home because obviously I had been.
Yeah.
So I was always thinking in my brain oh, did I do that right? It was actually a bit of a mind fuck, to be honest.
Yeah, that would have been.
Because I was battling between, making my family proud, not embarrassing them, doing well personally. I didn't want to be the guy from my little hometown in Norwich that went on and came back a day later, and it was embarrassing. So there was all lots of stuff going in my mind, but it all worked well. Well in the end, I stayed for a good amount of time. Had some good storylines.
How far along did you get?
I was there because I came in late, so I think I was there for about 5 to 6 weeks.
Oh, that's a long
which
time.
is a good amount of time. Yeah. And I had some fairly good storylines with different people. So, which is weird. That's the way I looked at it. I really did. I didn't look at it as the love thing.
Crazy.
I did come out with a girlfriend and that all from the show.
Yeah.
But that was very short lived.
Okay.
And she wasn't liked by the public.
Oh.
So yeah, that kind of went into different things and newspapers and rumors and stuff like that, which is a quite crazy part of my life.
Would have been.
And there was a spin-off where we met again twice because I did X on the Beach after that. So yeah, I kind of was thrown into this TV world.
Yeah. So what happened once you came out, were you just was it a deer in headlights? Because obviously, there would have been. I mean, it was it still is quite a big show, but at the time that was probably at its peak.
Yeah, it was a bit crazy, but in a weird way, it's what I wanted.
Yeah.
I saw people go on these shows and do well, and and I felt I was this. I imagined this.
Yeah.
And it actually it felt right.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel too scary to me.
Yeah.
I thought I actually just was grateful. I was this is really cool.
Yeah.
That I've got this opportunity. So yeah, I did, a few spin-offs. We did X on the Beach. There was a Love Island Christmas special, and I was the main story on that. And then, I guess the phone stops ringing a little bit after that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask sort of what happens when you get to that point where guess the fame and attention sort of starts to dwindle?
Yeah, so I've always felt like I'm like quite self-aware. I
Mhm.
never thought I was a star and I was gonna like be this famous celebrity. I never thought that.
Mhm.
I knew it was going to be a short-term thing, and I started to plan different things and
Okay.
different avenues.
Yeah.
One of the things I did was I said, how can I use my opportunities in my favor? And I had a look what I could do. And one of the things that what we made a lot of money going to clubs, doing club appearances.
Okay.
And that's actually where I made most of my money. I
Right.
could take selfies with people.
Right. Wait, just quickly, side note. Did you get paid to go on the show?
No.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
it's like nothing. It's about
Yeah.
$200 a week you get.
What? So the money you make is like, what, like social media stuff?
Yeah,
You get the
yeah, exactly. And
appearances?
it was the peak. We're talking a while ago now. Influencers was the big thing.
Yeah.
Brands are paying a lot of money.
Wow.
I got in at a really good time, so I was getting really cool deals.
Yeah.
It's much different now. But I would say the main money maker for me was going to different nightclubs, similar to what you do. I went to Freshers Week.
Oh, no
Yeah,
way.
but I was taking selfies with people, which is a bit different to what you do.
Yeah, very different.
So I was in that crowd, and yeah, nightclubs would pay me maybe $3,000 to go to a club. And I did it
Wow.
like 4 times a week. So I was making good money.
Wow, Jesus, that's crazy.
That started to dwindle down. And then I thought to myself, I don't really love just going there and taking selfies. I felt like a bit like an idiot, really. I didn't feel, it was like, what's the word? Imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
I was like, why would anyone want to selfie with me?
Yeah.
They would do it, but it felt uncomfortable. So I thought, right, what I could do is learn how to DJ.
Okay.
And then when I could get booked at a nightclub,
Yeah.
I can actually provide a service and not just take selfies.
True.
So I learned how to DJ, went to like DJ school.
Okay.
That's a real
Didn't know
thing.
You could do that.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
All right. Was it in person? Yeah.
Yeah, it was like a crash course.
Okay.
I feel like I pick things up pretty easily, and I think I've got a bit of rhythm. So
Okay, nice.
yeah, I've got rhythm. Yeah, bought some decks, and then said to my like booking agent, I said, I can DJ now. He was like, what? I was like, yeah, I've learned how to DJ. Yeah, it's like literally, it's 4 weeks. I can do it. Trust me, I can do a set. He's like, all right. So he emailed all the clubs, and they were like, oh, someone who's on a show, and he's going to DJ. No one had really done that.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed. That was where I saw where the money was in that.
Yeah,
So I was like, I'll focus on that.
Mm-hmm.
So I then managed to. So the new cast of Love On came out, but I managed to like do a whole new round of nightclubs around the UK.
Right.
And I went to Greece and Spain, DJ instead of the selfie. It was like a bit of both.
Right.
And I'd made it like my own night. It was like, I can't remember what we called it now. It was like Love Island of Rave or something like that.
Okay,
we created like an event, and
Yeah,
we would
yeah.
go to different clubs and do that.
That's cool.
And I had I was like, that's actually set me up for another year.
True.
You know,
Yeah, prolonged it.
it prolonged it. And then I thought to myself, maybe I'll make some music,
Mm-hmm.
right? And
Okay.
I'll like produce a song, like a club song.
Okay.
And maybe like that will be like the next step to round 3 of the clubs, and maybe I'll get a hit song,
Okay.
and then everyone will want to book me because my song's in the charts.
Yep.
I made a song
Okay.
with another producer, because I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, how did you?
Yeah, no, I didn't have to do that. So another producer, we like collaborated. And this is crazy because I'm a bit of a businessman. I managed to find a manager, and we made this song, and I actually ended up getting a record deal from Warner Music, which is the biggest record label in the world, right?
That's insane.
Yeah, I know.
At least one song.
One song, yeah.
Crazy.
They gave me about $40,000 for the song.
No way. That's insane.
Yeah, which is crazy because you don't get a record deal on your first song. It takes
No.
many years and lots of talent and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But I guess I didn't have the talent, but I had the business
Of course. Yeah.
acumen, and we found a way to get the record deal. It didn't do very well. The song did not do well.
Still got
Although,
40K out of it though.
yeah, I still got the money. So the way that a record deal works
Mm-hmm.
is that it's like an advance.
Okay.
So they give you 40 grand, and that's them purchasing the rights to the song. So they then now get the royalties every time someone plays it.
right.
Their hope is that it will get so many streams that it will make more than the 40. It obviously didn't. I'm sure they haven't been paid back yet, because it takes tons of streams to even get that kind of money.
Yeah, it's insane.
So I did obviously come out of the deal in better, but you know, they didn't obviously do another one.
Yeah.
But it was like a crazy experience. Like I signed a record deal in the thing. There's like
insane.
champagne. Like Warner Music is like it's like that. Yeah, it's huge. They do the records for like Ed Sheeran and people like that. So
Literally.
it was like, yeah, it was like quite crazy. I think I just took all of it for granted really, because every time I just keep getting a bit of luck. I kept getting everything. I was like, I'm going to do that, and I got it. And I'm going to do Love Island, and I'm going to do that. And yeah, I do think I've got like loads of luck on my side.
Yeah.
But some people think it's because I manifest it.
Yeah, I believe in that. I think you probably did. You were like, I want this, and then it happens.
Yeah, and I had a conversation, you know, with one of my friends about manifesting. I don't really believe in it.
Okay.
So I do imagine myself doing things, but I always think it's only because I act upon things, and it can be step by step.
Yeah.
But I think it's that I'm a bit more
logical.
Yeah, about it.
I sort of agree. I think like manifesting is like you've got this goal, and every single decision you make in life is to get you closer to that goal, right? So yeah, you are going to end up, you know, if you're making the right choices, you're going to get to that point. So but I still think it's a similar thing.
Yeah, I guess it is similar. I think it's like more of me. It's like, it's not the universe giving it to me. It's me. Yeah. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But I get why people kind of like go down that road. I mean, it's good to have that belief.
Yeah, for sure. So I want to know, I guess, like, you kind of touched on it before. You were a PT, did you say?
Before personal trainer, yeah.
Yeah. So like once you left school, what was the progression there? And then, yeah, I want to know all about sort of your business mind and how you kind of got to where you are now. So I want to know about like your past jobs.
Okay. I'm essentially like a serial failed entrepreneur, actually.
Okay.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And I'd like, you know, do really well now, and I've become quite successful, but I think it's interesting and valuable to talk about your failures, and most of them have been failures. I mean, first job was like stupid stuff, paper rounds. Then I worked at, my first job was at a school uniform shop. I sold school uniforms.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very humble.
Yeah. And then I worked at a gym. And then I was just, you know, getting paid by the hour. And then I was like, let's have a taste of business. I'll be a PT. And I worked at like I'd paid rent at a gym, and I had to get my own clients. That was my first taste of like, this is my own business.
Yeah.
So I'd have to turn up I could turn up anytime I wanted. The more clients I had, the better. After I got enough clients, like maybe 10 or 20, I then opened up a small personal training studio.
Okay.
That I owned. So I paid rent at the studio. It was my gym. So now I don't pay rent at the gym anymore.
Right.
My studio, my equipment. That ended up being quite successful, and then went to a bigger gym, much bigger. People actually paid memberships, and I owned it.
Okay.
And that's like kind of where it started to get go downhill a little bit.
Okay.
It just wasn't, it was like barely breaking even. I was up at 4 a.m. I was back home at 10. I didn't have employees. It was just like a one-man band. I was the cleaner. I was the trainer. I was the class instructor. And it was like so much work for very little money. I think I'd either break even or make like $1,000 a month.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that was a bit shit. I then thought, right, I want to be a tech entrepreneur. And this is going to be a bit of a full circle because we're in Dubai. I started an iPhone app.
Okay.
And it was based in Dubai.
Right.
And I invested loads of money, my dad's money, my uncle's money, my cousin's money. And we had this app, and it was called Brunch Club.
Okay.
And basically this was maybe 8 years ago now. And there's this big thing called brunch in Dubai.
Right.
It happened every Friday. And there was like about 100 brunches every Friday in all the different hotels and restaurants and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I said to someone, because I'd come out here a lot, like, how do you know which one to go to? He's like, you don't, you kind of just ask. And I was like, I'm going to create an app.
Yeah.
All the brunches are on there, and they can book via my app, depending on the vibe. You know, it was like selective
Or
on
price.
price and stuff like that. Because you can pay, brunch can be up to 200 quid to like 20 quid. So built this app, came to Dubai, launched it, and it was like the biggest flop ever. It just didn't work. No one booked it. I was just like a 21-year-old, 22-year-old trying to do this thing in Dubai. Just like it lost the whole business, lost the money. Okay. And I was 21. I was quite young to do that.
Very young. Yeah.
I literally came out to Dubai. I stayed in like a little crappy hotel for like 3 months and tried to get this thing off the ground. Wow. It just didn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had like no more money left, came back home.
What were you thinking then? Were you like, I've fucked it? Or were you like, no, I'm going to keep going? Like,
Yeah, I actually think that I was going to keep going. I was like, I'm going to come back and like change the app somehow.
Yeah,
I'll make
okay.
it maybe more general. Maybe you can book something else. Maybe I could figure out how to like, you could book private jets or something like that. I was
Yeah.
trying to do like luxury lifestyle thing,
for sure.
but I was going to like figure it out. But this is the point where like the TV show thing came in.
Gotcha.
And I thought if I can get on a TV show, I'll get followers and then I can then promote the app and then it'll be successful.
Gotcha. Okay.
So then the failed show happened and then Love Island happened. I came back and earned so much money doing other things. I paid all my investors back because they were my family members and the app died.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah, forever. Yeah. We never looked back.
Yeah.
And I was a bit annoyed because I was like, I did lose a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's rough.
I lost like maybe 20 grand. But as a 22-year-old, losing 20 grand is quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it would like keep me up at night. But I look back on it as like, oh my God, I learned loads of stuff. And actually the 20 grand that I spent was worth like the lessons I learned.
100%. Yeah. Yeah. When I was, how old was I? I would have been 21 too. I started a swimwear business. And I remember I launched like season 1, I called it. And I think I spent 20 grand on that as well. And it just didn't do well. And then I remember thinking, oh, should I keep going or should I stop? So then I did season 2 and I put in way less money and I ended up making back what I had like lost or spent on season 1. And then I was like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to call it even and like get out. And I did. But I look back on that a lot and I'm like, oh, I really loved doing that. Like I should have kept going with it, but you never know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's brilliant that you went for it again and made the money back.
Yeah. Looking back, I'm like, that's pretty big.
No, you do. I think you can take risks when you're younger as well, right?
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people say is that, and I actually, this is what I would, this is what my advice would be is when you're 21, you don't have like a mortgage to pay.
No.
Probably not. You probably don't have kids. You know, people don't rely on you. You should do it because the failure's fine. It doesn't matter. Like you're not going to lose your life. Like if you live at home with your mum, like she's not going to kick you out.
Sure.
So like do those riskier things like when you're younger. As you get more lessons under your belt, then you can obviously be a little bit more, have a bit more risk management towards your business.
Definitely.
But when you're young, just do it. It doesn't matter.
And I agree. Like I learned so much from that experience. I think I did it for 2 or 3 years, and the lessons I learned from that, I've like used in my business today. So like it is worth it, even if you do end up losing money. Like you learn lessons.
For sure.
You've started an OnlyFans management agency. I'm so curious to know, like, I guess how did you get into that from where you left off with, you know, your DJing career?
Yeah. And I still do DJ every now and then,
Do
but
you?
not more for fun these days.
Okay.
So the progression of that is actually I started a more of a talent agency first.
Okay.
We managed some YouTubers and some different like creators like that.
Cool.
And it did all right. We'd get different deals, you know, it was like brand deals with different companies, Sheen and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah.
But my wife, Kayla, she had a OF account. She's more of a non-explicit creator and she just had it on the side.
Yeah.
And she'd make a couple of grand a month.
Okay.
And I had access to it and I was always curious. I was like, it's like kind of like it was a bit of fun money for us.
Yeah.
And then I looked at it and I thought, oh, that's interesting that, you know, she has this and the way it works and there's money coming in. And my brain started to tick. And I was like, what about if you could market this business? You know, what about if I could grow this thing with her? So I started to, you know, help her a little bit more with the content side of things, helped her more with the marketing, maybe like, you know, talk about it a little bit more on the social media and it grew.
Yeah.
And, you know, as you say, like there's a lot of money in OF. And I thought, well, if I can help, you know, my wife grow her account, you know, with help with the marketing, maybe I can help other people. She's very much involved in the business. We do it together.
Yeah.
And I felt like I actually saw a bit in the sort of a gap in the market for like OF agencies. I like to say that my company is more of a creative agency, but in the OF space.
Yeah.
So a lot of these OF companies, they like really focus on the OF side of things. They don't really care about the brand of the creator.
Yeah.
They just care about only the money, only like the XXX content. They wouldn't get involved in trying to get brand deals. They wouldn't get involved in like, okay, well, what can we do to take you to the next level? For example, like we're creating, you know, a TV show.
Yeah.
And there was a big gap in the market for like, it just felt like a bit of a man's game.
Yeah.
And, you know, having Kayla on board, helping me, and we employed, you know, a bunch of females, that can kind of make our clients feel as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just felt like there was room for someone to kind of look at this business a bit differently. And I think we have. Like, we've been super successful. We've had the company for about 3 years. We've got some amazing clients. We've got some amazing success stories. Because obviously we have grown accounts really, really big, but we're also a company that is trying to help the client in different avenues and not just focusing on OF. You know, TV shows, for example, the one we're doing with you. We're doing a cookbook with another creator. She's into cooking, so we're going to work out how to do like the first like saucy, sexy cookbook.
Wow, that's fun.
Yeah, so that's the way I kind of like look at, you know, our company, and yeah, I'm super proud of it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think like a lot of OnlyFans creators have so many bad experiences with agencies. I've personally never been with one, but I have heard horror stories of people joining agencies and then they take 50% and their account just crashes because all they're doing is like they've got this like, I guess like this blanket way of running accounts where they fail to realize that everyone has different audiences and everyone's account is run differently, and some works better for other people than it does others. And so like, yeah, I've just heard so many situations where they're like locked into contracts and stuff like that. So I think it's like cool that I guess you like tailor it to the creator and you definitely take more care and put more, I don't know, attention into them.
Yeah, I mean, the way we look at it is, for the creators, it's still their business. We are not now your managers. We don't tell you what to do. We don't like run the whole account. I still want, you know, the customers of OF to get a real experience and be able to talk to the creator. And I still want all of our clients, to kind of feel comfortable with what we're doing, and be on board, and we're like just sort of be an extra arm to their business. So that's the way we look at it. We want to make sure customers are happy, clients are happy, and we get to do cool experiences like go to Dubai along the way. Yeah,
awesome. I love that. So I wanted to talk about Kayla, because you sort of mentioned her before.
Yep.
How did you guys meet? And like what point in your journey did you guys, I guess, get married and all of that?
Yeah. So I am married, 31, married. I think that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good going.
It is, for sure. Hot wife.
Yeah, very hot wife. Because she will be listening to this. Super hot wife, best woman in the world. Love her very much. No, and she is actually super supportive. I know she does have an OF account, but she's not really too much into like the adult industry. She keeps it quite low key.
Yeah.
And some, you know, girlfriends, wives, whatever, could get quite jealous that we are working with OF creators. She's not. She's completely involved in the business. Yeah. She's very supportive, and I think she has helped the company get to where it is today. We met. Well, actually, it was sort of a digital love story in this day and age, because I did a TV show called X on the Beach, I mentioned, and I went on the American version. So there was a bunch of British people and a bunch of American people all in a house, X on the Beach. I'm sure you know how that works. Yeah. Your ex comes in, right? I was the ex on this occasion, so I came in. When the show had wrapped, you know, we said bye to the cast, stuff like that. There was a girl on there who was American. She came back home, and Kayla messaged her and said, "How's the show?" She says, "Really good." She said, "Any hot guys?" And I was like, "Oh, there's a guy called Sam, blah, blah, blah." And she's like, "Oh," looked me up on Instagram. And then I got a message, I think Boxing Day after Christmas. Well, it's just emoji. And it was like the eye emoji, which I have. This is quite cute. I've got it tattooed.
Oh, that's cute.
She has it as well. Aww. So she sent the eye emoji. I just sent one back.
Yeah.
You know what the eye emoji means, though?
Yeah.
It means I'm looking at you.
Yeah.
You're hot.
Yes, yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah.
So we started a conversation. It was like Christmas time. I was quite bored. I said, "Where are you from?" She said, "Florida."
I was bored, so I guess I had to talk to her.
Yeah, exactly. I think she was like newly single, and I was like, "Well, whereabouts do you live in Florida?" I live by the beach. I said, "I love the beach."
Nice.
She said, "You should come sometime." And I said, "How about in 3 weeks?"
No way.
And she's like, "All right." And I was like, "No, I am going to do it." She's like, "Yeah, do it then." It's kind of like, is it real or not?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do it. And then it's like done then. Book the flight. So I guess our first date was, all the way from the UK to America.
Did you stay with her?
Yeah. So that was like I had like a backup plan.
Okay.
So I was staying with her.
Yeah.
But I thought worst case scenario, if it goes badly, I had some friends that were in LA, and I said to her, I was like, I've got some friends in LA, so, we'll have some fun, and then, I can go over there.
Yeah.
And it wasn't weird. It was chill. It was cool. It felt natural. There was no like forced conversations. I didn't have to stay on the couch. And like it kind of like escalated quite quickly into like not a relationship, but like just
Like more serious.
Yeah, a little bit more. I guess it was difficult because I wasn't planning on like living in America. So I was there for 2 weeks, went back home. She visited me. She went back home, and it was just like a long distance, like see where it goes. Because she did TV shows as well. I was maybe doing TV shows, so we didn't know where it was going to go. And to be honest, it probably just could have been like a casual thing. And then lockdown happened, but I had a flight booked to go see her in America again.
Right.
I ended up, and Trump was about to close the borders. So I was thinking, do I fly there and then they close the borders? Maybe they open it again in 2 weeks, or do I get stuck there? I didn't really know what to do. And I was like, I'll just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see what happens. If I get stuck in Florida, it's not too bad.
No,
because
that's true.
the UK is obviously, weather is shocking. So yeah, flew there. He did close the borders, and I did get stuck there for 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't close it for 3 months. And that just propelled the relationship, obviously.
Right.
We're stuck together in lockdown, 3 months. We hadn't known each other very long at all.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess we just didn't get sick of each other. And I'll tell you what, I get sick of people really easily.
So do I.
I actually, the more I get older, I hate people.
Yeah. Well.
No, I hate them all. Don't like them.
Fair enough.
When I say that, I mean just obviously specific people.
Yeah.
I don't hate you.
I was going to say, do you hate me?
No, but like, I think you kind of get to know if you like someone or hate someone, or not hate someone, but you're not going to hang with them very quickly. And yeah, I did get sick of her, and I thought she's really cool.
Yeah.
And then, I proposed within 8 months.
Wow. And now you've been married, 3 years?
3 years,
you just had your anniversary.
Yesterday.
And you both forgot.
Yeah, we both forgot.
Which is perfect.
We
made
both
for
forgot.
each other.
Yeah, made for each other. But it was our anniversary yesterday. And yeah, we both forgot.
That's so funny. I guess like this is sort of, I don't know if this is super relevant to you because as you said, like Kayla's she doesn't do super explicit content on her page. But I'm going to ask you anyway, because a lot of people say, to me and other OnlyFans creators, oh, you're never going to find someone because you do OnlyFans. So I guess I want to know, like, was that ever a concern to you, or did Kayla do OnlyFans when you met her? Like, what was sort of the go there?
She did. She had an account, and I think she's making good money. I'm actually not gonna lie to you. I hated it.
You hated it?
I hated it.
Okay.
I didn't know. I didn't understand the industry at all. I was not even in it. And a long time ago, I feel like OnlyFans did have like a massive stigma, didn't it?
Huge stigma, yeah.
It was like, it was new. It was crazy.
Everyone was like, what the hell?
Yeah,
it was always the
like,
running joke, like, I'm going to make an OnlyFans account. Like, because that's wild.
I know. And it was basically, you're OnlyFans, you're a sex worker, and you're basically like a porn star.
Yeah.
That's basically what it was to start with.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not sure if I had that view, but I didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I understood the money side of things. And she was like, well, look, I'll keep it, but like, I just won't promote it too much. I'll like keep it low key. I'm like, I'm making good money. It's pretty easy. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like where it went. But obviously, as we grew closer together and I started to learn a little bit more about her and maybe the company and what it is and what it does and understanding it, I realized that actually, it's not as crazy as I thought. it's as easy as, you get to talk to Kayla, which is when people want to do that. And
Yeah.
she's been on TV shows and they get to talk to her and it's actually her.
Yeah.
And they get to, buy lingerie pictures or whatever and have their fun, and she makes money. And, whether you're getting naked or not, it's to me, it's, it's got to the point as like, whatever, and it takes a bit of time to kind of understand that no one's getting hurt.
No.
It's just,
It's not like she's like cheating on you or anything like that. Like you're the one that is with her. So
yeah, exactly. And like, look, if someone wants to ask a question and she's going to get paid for it, then go for it.
yeah, for sure. That's good. So you've done a lot of work with like OFTV, and obviously we're doing the show right now in Dubai. How did you go down the path of like producing?
Yeah, I think it's actually like very self-taught, and I think it has come from doing the shows.
I was going to ask,
I think it's doing the show. So when you do Love Island and X on the Beach, I also did one called The Challenge, and I did that with Kayla.
Okay.
We were like teammates on like a competition show.
Cool.
So I've done a few now, and I have always been interested of the people behind the camera.
Right.
And I mean, you'll know this TV, what we've done. I've been a producer. You've just had your own conversations.
Yeah.
But I've kind of set up some things in terms of this shot would look really cool here or this bit here. And they would do that on the show. They'd say, Sam, we're going to put you like just on the edge of the yacht here. Like, do you want to ask, Christine, how you feel today? Like they would just give you prompts like that, and then you'd have your own conversation. So it is real. I always thought it was just really interesting, and it really works. It really helped me. It helped me when I was on these shows.
Yeah.
It would like prompt you to say funny things and
For sure.
and stuff like that. So it'd really be you, but it would just speed things along.
Yeah.
And I think I just picked that up, and I've always been interested in creating content for myself.
Yeah.
Obviously I've got my podcast that you've been on. I've done YouTube videos. I'd had an interview series, stuff like that. And I was like I guess not the star of the show, but like the person, right? I wanted to be the person.
Yeah.
And then as I've got onto my business and got married and stuff like that, I've been like, I actually want to be behind the camera. I want to try that out.
Okay.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved the directing. I loved the concepts. I love working with talented people like yourself, that, give a lot to the camera, and then seeing that finished product and put it out there and people comment. And I'm like, I'm helped make that.
Yeah. That's
And
so cool.
I started to get a lot of satisfaction from it. And I've just decided to do more and more and more. I'll be honest, I love doing the OFTV stuff and YouTube series. And there was some crazy stuff going out on YouTube these days, isn't there? I
don't go much on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Well, people treat YouTube like the TV now.
Right.
Like you have like the documentaries. They like go on YouTube only.
Oh.
Like there's some OnlyFans creators have done a few documentaries here and there, and they're just on YouTube, and they are done beautifully.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And like YouTube's great. But I think my dream would be to produce either a reality TV show, a real one that's on actual TV, or potentially even help produce a documentary, because I'm super into documentaries.
Yes, yeah.
True crime specifically. So yeah, I'm just looking out for a murder.
Yeah.
And I need to get there first, and then I can then produce the Netflix documentary.
Yeah, and we have spoken about Mum putting that murder for you, so you can have
your mum has agreed to commit a murder in order for me to get the dream. Because I guess like if she commits the murder, then she would get the right to say like, oh no, Sam has to do the documentary.
Yeah. Well, she would in her will perhaps.
Yeah.
Before.
Oh, no, she
she's
get
not
murdered?
dying. No, she's killing someone. I forgot.
She's going to be the murderer.
But she'll be in jail and she'll say, I want Sam to produce it.
And and she'll have the power, because what the documentary would be best if we got the prison tapes.
Yeah.
So if she says, well, I'm only going to speak to Sam.
Yeah.
Then the like Netflix have no option but to make me the producer.
Exactly.
I'm like, well, I've all got all the prison tapes.
Yeah.
So this is a perfect way for me to achieve my dream.
For sure. Thanks, Mum.
Thank you, Karen.
Okay, so you also have a sort of property developing business, or tell me a little bit about that. How did you sort of get into property?
Yeah. So I guess it was firstly out of boredom.
Okay.
Me and Kayla bought a first house together.
Cool.
And
When was that?
oh, that was I want to say 2020.
Okay. And whereabouts?
Oh no, maybe later than that. Maybe 20. It was actually, when was lockdown? It was just before lockdown.
2020?
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just after the first lockdown. There was another one.
Okay.
But yeah, we bought a house, and obviously it needed a lot of work to it.
US or UK?
It was in the UK.
UK.
Yeah, all of the property stuff's in the UK at the moment. That's where we're kind of settled for now.
Yeah.
So yeah, we bought this house in the city. It needed some work. And we said, should we just try and renovate this? We'll work it out. We'll hire some people. I am the most frugal
Okay.
person. You know frugal?
Yeah.
I just checked you have that in Australia. Okay. So I'm very frugal. And I always felt, I was like, look, I had no skills in I've never even picked up a drill. So I had no skills, but I was like, surely we can figure this out. Like if there was, I'd ring someone up and say, how much to change the floor? And he'd be like, $4,000. I'd be like,
Dang.
I can't pay I was like, surely I can figure that out.
Yeah.
So I would just spend my time in lockdown, like watching YouTube videos, buy the tool, try and figure out myself.
Right.
It never was perfect.
Okay.
But it was like always good enough.
Yeah.
I was like, this isn't my dream home, so whatever.
True.
But obviously as time went on, I got better at it.
Yeah.
First house we bought and sold for about 50,000 profit on the first one. And then I got a taste of that property money.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want more of this.
Uh-huh.
And then I guess it just kind of snowballed from there. Bought another one on auction. We raised a bit more money from OF as well. Thank you, OF. Flipped that. Got another 50,000 profit.
Amazing.
Yeah.
How long does it take for you to flip the house?
It can depend. So we've been the first part we were living in the house at the same time, so there was no rush.
Okay.
So we were sort of doing things gradually. But when we did it for a real investment, it was an auction house. It was horrible. The woman had died in it, and it was just disgusting.
And you weren't living in that one?
No.
So that was an investment. I just have a quick question. Do you guys have capital gains tax in the UK?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So did you have to pay that when
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But also, we have been looking into, which is very legal, buying houses in company names as well can help with that.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. So, and obviously we're not living in it, so it is a business now.
Yeah.
So yeah, the last one we did, the auction house, that took about 5 months.
Okay.
So it was about 50,000 in 5 months.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that worked out amazing.
Yeah.
Whilst living in another one, and we're currently building a big dream house, I'd say, for ourselves. It's a very big
Amazing.
project. We're super excited to move in. It is pretty much going to be done exactly how we want. It's we travel to Asia in the summer, and we've taken a lot of you've been to Bali, right?
Yeah.
You know that Bali vibe,
Yeah.
the way they have a lot of curves and
Yes, I know exactly what you
know,
mean.
the rustic feel.
Yes. That's
God, I
cool.
feel so old that I'm talking about house design on a podcast.
I love it. I'm so into it. I love talking about houses and property.
It's taken so many different turns. Love Island, now they're talking about the Balinesian interior design.
That's what I meant by man of many talents.
There you go. Yeah, I'm bringing lots of different sides to myself.
Yeah.
But as do you, I love it. I love
Yeah.
interior design and making something custom and making it your own. And it won't be everybody's taste. We're a minimal
Minimalist.
couple, minimalist. Yeah. I don't like stuff.
Yeah, I don't like clutter.
No, I don't like clutter. In our current, people think it's weird, but in our current house, we don't have a picture of
Neither do
anybody
I'm
in
the
the house.
same.
Do you not?
No, I'm the same. I'm like, I don't want that. It's going to look messy.
Yeah. So there's no picture frames anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't really need to have a look at a picture of myself on the wall.
No.
I can look at my phone.
Yeah.
We have the little Amazon, the Amazon thing,
Yes.
and that sometimes does pictures, but then obviously it also can play music. So I don't mind that. That's our pictures.
Yeah, okay,
The
okay,
memories will flash up on a slideshow. That'll do me.
Nice. Do you have artwork and stuff though, right? Or no?
We do have a small piece of artwork actually, but not a ton. There's only one big one in the main room, and that's it.
Wow.
So I'm not even big on that.
I'm a big I'm minimalist, but the way I bring pops of color is through artwork and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, that's obviously.
So I don't even like color.
You just want like white.
It's like, yeah. So it's concrete, grey.
I know what you mean.
Beiges,
Yeah.
greyish, bits of white, and then like maybe like black accents in the furniture.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Nice.
All right, people are probably turned off now. They're like, whatever.
Yeah. So you're obviously super business minded, and you've kind of got like a hand in every jar, so to speak. I guess I want to know, like, where do you think that came from?
Okay, I have thought about this before. I think that my business side of things has maybe come from when I was younger. And this is what someone sort of, not a therapist has told me, but someone said, maybe this is it. And I think maybe there is aspects to it. So I am an older brother and I have 3 sisters and they're triplets.
Right.
So they're obviously all born the same day. They're not identical, but when I was younger, I remember every time we would go out in public, they would get so much attention. Like loads of attention, because it was like my mum, like back then it was like quite odd, but
Did she have the 3?
yeah, and it was like someone had to like, they weren't poor, but it was very rare to find. It was like very expensive to get a 3-person pram, so they like soldered. My dad like soldered like a 2 and a 1, because you get a 2 really easily.
Right. Yeah.
Soldered it together like 2 and a 1.
Wow.
And then they'd push that around.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it was really odd to see 3 little girls.
Yeah.
And she'd get stopped in the, in the shopping malls and stuff like that.
I never even thought about that.
And I was young, right? So I was only like 5 or 6, but I feel like maybe my brain was like, or like wanted attention, like, or I was like, why did no one like come say hi to me?
Yeah.
Because they would like go like, oh my God.
It's almost like middle child syndrome, because I'm a middle child and I always felt that way.
Yeah.
It's funny because you're the oldest.
There was this like one time we were in the shopping mall and there was a big opening of a record store. You know Virgin?
Yeah.
Yeah. They've got the Airways and stuff. You know Sir Richard Branson?
Yes.
The owner of it?
Yeah.
He was in my little small town opening up that record store.
No way.
We were going past and this PR lady come in. I don't remember this. This is a story I've been told.
Okay.
But I've like flashes. And then the PR lady was like to my mum and me, like, come into the store. Richard Branson's in it. He wants a picture with the triplets to like put on the front page of the newspaper.
What?
Just because he loves like random PR.
Yeah.
And so she come in, they went to the front of the queue, and then Richard Branson had a picture like with I was not in the picture. I was not in the picture. I got left out. And I wonder if those moments fighting for attention from other people is why I went on reality TV, why I'm competitive, why I'm like really into, because the business, the way you measure success in business is money.
Yeah.
So I think that's why where I'm like, I want to be super successful. I want to be the best at it. I'm fighting for attention. And then I think that's where it's come from, to be honest.
That does make sense. That's so interesting that you had, 3.
Because my sisters, they are not confident, like people. Well, that's a bit harsh to say. They like they would never go on a podcast. Let's say that. They would never do reality TV. Not in a million years.
Okay. Yeah, that's so interesting.
And I had it in me. I had this,
I
want to be on camera thing. It's like, I like felt that.
Yeah. I feel that too.
I feel it. Yeah, you feel it too. Yeah. Yeah. We're both modest, aren't we?
Yeah, very. So you've obviously got like many successful businesses. Obviously you've had your lessons learned and all of that, but what's some advice you'd give to someone that wants to have a successful business?
I guess, well, the first thing is don't worry about the failures, because obviously I have had tons of them. And a second thing I have actually learned is the focus. So you definitely got to do something that you enjoy. And it doesn't have to like there's people that have businesses that isn't, exactly like fun, but it earns them a lot of money. So you got to enjoy the process.
Yes.
And don't worry about what everybody else is doing. I've had lots of businesses where I would then go, oh, he's doing that. He's doing a clothing brand. Maybe I'll do a clothing brand. Or he's doing crypto. Should I do crypto now? Because he's making money on crypto. Like, just don't worry about everybody else.
Yeah.
Because if you keep doing lots of things at once, you'll end up sort of with maybe 4 mediocre businesses. I know you said I've got kind of a lot of businesses, but realistically, I kind of put my focus on like maybe two.
Yeah.
Like I really like honing on like, you know, one or two. I really keep it quite small, and that's what I've learned. Don't spread yourself too thin is the phrase, right?
Yeah, I've learned that too.
Yes. And it works, right? You know,
Yeah.
you start to focus on one thing or two things, and you start to then see the results by not just trying to do something that someone else is doing just because you start to make some money or she start to make some money.
Yeah, no, for sure. I totally agree. Okay, so to finish off the episode, I have been asking the previous guest to ask the next guest a question. So the last guest was my mum, and she had a very
Oh God, I can't wait for
interesting
this.
question. She said, when did you first enjoy sex? And she wanted to clarify, like, not the first time you had sex, but the first time you really enjoyed it.
Cool. That is quite the question,
It
Karen.
really is.
Enjoyed it. I definitely didn't enjoy the first one.
Yeah, I don't feel like anyone
That really
does.
freaked me out. Do you know what? It probably was when I like had my first like big boy relationship.
Yeah.
Because it made, you know, it probably like made you realize like actually, it's just gonna maybe sound a bit lame, but like it made you realize that it's not just about that.
Yeah, yes.
And like I think maybe I've enjoyed it in terms of like, you know, you can have a sexual experience and then you can also go on a really fun holiday with that person, or you can go on a date with that person. But yeah, it's really hard to think about, you know, the actual first enjoyment. But I think that's the best way to think about it, because that's the only thing that sticks out in my mind.
Yeah.
You know, you just sort of grow up and you realize, you know,
like sometimes sex is just sex, but when you're having it with someone that you have feelings for, it's like it just makes it so much better. Is that what you sort of mean?
Yeah, I think I thought it was cool because, you know, back in the day when I was younger, I did have, you know, a lot of like nightclub and going out and bringing a girl home and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I can't remember those, right?
Yeah, true.
Which is probably like why they don't stick in my mind, because I don't really remember them. So I can only sort of really remember, I guess, like different girlfriends.
Yeah.
And it's probably because, you know, you have a sexual experience and then you get to, like actually enjoy something else. You don't just like, all right, bye, never see them again.
Yeah.
I would like to say, obviously, my wife is the best sexual partner I've ever had.
Just for the record.
Just for the record. And actually, I lied about everything before that. I've never had sex before her.
I was a virgin until I met you.
Yes, exactly.
Perfect. Okay, so what is your question for the next guest? Obviously not knowing who they are. Could be anything, like any question, what flavor ice cream they like, anything you want.
Okay. I wish you told me this before. I got you something really good. Based on first impressions, what did you think of Annie?
Oh, I like that. I'm trying to think who my next guest is. Oh, I know who it is. That's a good one.
Have you got a relationship, like do you know the person, or is it going to be the first
It'll be
time?
the first time I've met them.
Okay, so
it'll be good.
Pressure's going to be on.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You should just act like really weird
my
on the
God.
first, like.
I can't. I love this person too much.
Oh no, that'd be funny if you just act weird. And she's like, yeah, no, I think you're quite strange actually, and this is going to be a very awkward interview.
I feel like she'd be really honest too. Okay, well, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Did you want to maybe like plug your company a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're always looking for different content creators. So Let's Surge is the company. Maybe you could be the next show that we produce. We're looking for some superstars. You don't have to bring your mum along. That's just quite specific to Annie. My podcast is called Wi-Fi Money, at Wi-Fi Money Pod, and my Instagram is at @SamRobertBird.
Nice. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to request any guests or you have any questions for me, just DM me at annieknight.unhinged with no I in the night. Oh my God, it's always so long trying to say that. And I'll see you next week.
Update on Annie Knight.
So I've seen online that someone by the name of Annie Knight are coming to the Gold Coast for schooling.
You and Annie Knight are getting deported from Fiji.
Unhinged.
So unhinged.
Hey guys, they were talking about Annie Knight, who has been labeled Australia's most promiscuous woman.
This shit unhinged?